I want to talk about something that happened very recently, because it's everything we've discussed made visceral. The Department of Justice released millions of pages of files from the Jeffrey Epstein investigations. The Epstein Files Transparency Act required this disclosure. Survivors and advocates supported transparency. They wanted accountability for the powerful men who abused them. But here's what the DOJ did. They released the names of the victims. At least 31 people who were victimized as children had their identities exposed. Survivors who had never come forward publicly were suddenly searchable. Intimate details from FBI interviews, details survivors shared believing they would remain confidential, were posted online. Attorneys for the survivors called it, quote, the single most egregious violation of victim privacy in one day in United States history, unquote. The DOJ knew the Crime Victims' Rights Act. They wrote the implementation guidelines. They had months to prepare. Attorneys warned them. They released anyway. And when the files went up, with victim names exposed, they offered survivors an email inbox to report, quote, redaction concerns, unquote. After the damage was done, after the files had been downloaded, after their followers, the same people who showed up at the Capitol, who send death threats to election workers, who have been primed to see these women as enemies, had the information. One survivor, Danielle Bensky, said it clearly, quote, I thought it was carelessness, and then I went to incompetence. And now it feels deliberate. It feels like an attack on survivors, unquote. The brother of Virginia Giuffre, who died by suicide last year, noted the pattern. Quote, they're redacting the names of perpetrators, and they're unredacting the names of victims, unquote. This is enforcement weaponized. The agency meant to protect victims, endangering them. Knowing what would happen, doing it anyway. That's not negligence. That's policy. In the face of all this, what can we actually do? I want to start with language, because language shapes perception, and precision is power. Affirmative consent. This is the shift from, quote, no means no, unquote, to, quote, yes means yes, unquote. Instead of requiring someone to actively resist, affirmative consent requires active agreement. Several states have adopted this standard for campus policies and even criminal law. California, New York, Illinois. The language matters because it puts the responsibility where it belongs. Survivor versus victim. Both terms are valid, and individuals should choose how they identify. But, quote, survivor, unquote, centers agency. It says, this was done to me, and I'm still here. Sexual violence versus sex scandal. Language that frames assault as a, quote, scandal, unquote, implies impropriety on all sides. It minimizes. Precision names what happened. Legislative laundering. We've used this term throughout the series. Name the pattern. Pass a law, celebrate the victory, gut the protection. When you see it, call it what it is. Give people the vocabulary, and they can see patterns they couldn't see before.